Broadcasting live from Dar es Salaam, this is TBC News. Tanzania-India trade hits new record high. HRC hails legislative process. Good evening, I am Teddy Mparinyanga. Thank you very much for joining us. We're also live on our YouTube channel, TBC Online. And remember, you can also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says bilateral ties between Zanzibar and India continue to deepen between the two governments and among the people. President Mwinyi held talks with the Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs of India, Shri V. Muralidharan. Vaidhangaga has more details.
President Dr. Mwinyi insists that India has been supporting Tanzania and Zanzibar on various development sectors like water and education. Furthermore, Dr. Mwinyi adds that India's decision to establish a Zanzibar campus of the India Institute of Technology, Madras, is a huge step symbolizing success of the existing cooperation between India and Tanzania.
Visits like yours further strengthen this cooperation, and we are looking forward to cooperate in more sectors. Already, as you mentioned, in economic sectors, but I want to take this opportunity to convey our appreciation for the areas that already we have received support from the Indian government. Here in Zanzibar, we have a huge water project. We are about to, it is about to be completed, and I think it is one of the biggest projects we have. And in education, the fact that AIT is here is a very big thing for us. And I believe because it is the first faculty outside India, then it is very big news and very big achievement for Zanzibar as well.
On the other hand, the Indian Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Shri V. Muralidharan, says despite this being his first visit to Tanzania, but the cooperation between the two sides is historical, dating back before Tanganyika and Zanzibar united.
India was one of the first countries to recognize Zanzibar, even before it became a union with Tanganyika. So, in that sense, our relationship is very, very centuries old. So, I am sure that in the recent and the modern days, it has got translated to the requirement of the present time. That is, whether it is political, trade, economic cooperation, all these aspects.
Speaking about India's decision to establish the Zanzibar campus of the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Minister Muralidharan says that it is one way to maintain the diplomatic cooperation that exists between Tanzania and India, along which will nurture many professionals in the technological field. Muralidharan had the opportunity to visit the Zanzibar campus of the Indian Institute of Technology in Waleo, West District B, as well as inspecting the area that another branch will be built in Fumba.
Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Ambassador Mbaruk Nasor Mbaruk, says trade value between Tanzania and India hits $6.5 billion compared to $2.6 billion recorded in the last 5 years, making India the fourth Tanzanian trading partner. Here's a report prepared by Ismail Bugudha and read to you by Vaidhangaga.
He made the revelation while opening a meeting that brings together India and Tanzanian business communities, insisting that India so far has 630 investment projects in the country worth $3.7 billion. On the other hand, the Union Minister of State for External Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs of India, Shri Muralidharan, says Tanzania will continue to be a major investment destination for India due to its conducive business environment.
Tanzania and India share a vibrant economic partnership in the areas of trade and investment that made India to be the fourth largest trading partner of Tanzania, with a bilateral volume of $6.5 billion USD currently. And I'm told that 5 years ago, the figures was around 2.6 billion USD.
Indian investments in Tanzania are on the rise, touching $3.7 billion, spanning various sectors such as hospitals, pharmaceuticals, animal vaccines, education, mining.
Last year, we had 800 Indian delegates and 9 business delegations, big ones, which we hosted. This year, we already had 7 delegations and almost 700 business members that we have registered in the High Commission.
On the other hand, the leader of the delegation of 30 businessmen from India says the meeting will have great contribution in developing the usage of technology in the business sector.
I see the huge potential for the Indian investor to participating in investing in Tanzania. Under the leadership of the President, Honorable Samia Suluhu Hassan, several reforms has been introduced to encourage foreign investment.
India is also amongst the top 5 investment sources in Tanzania. And as per Tanzania Investment Center, where we were yesterday, we were also told Indian investments in Tanzania add up to 3.74 billion. I think it's a humongous amount. Adding to the momentum, Confederation of Indian Industry has actively tried to promote trade and investment between our two countries.
The visit of the business delegation from the pharmaceutical, energy, household goods and other sectors is the result of the previous visit of President Samia Suluhu Hassan to India, where 8 private sector agreements were signed.
The FUNGU Innovation Program under the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, funded by the European Union, has unveiled the second cohort of 17 investees following its successful conclusion of the second call for funding applications. The call, valued at 1.2 billion Tanzanian shillings, was launched mid-June, targeting impact-driven startups with growth potential. To understand what next and the impact of the project, we are joined by Joseph Manirakiza, who is the FUNGU Program Manager. Welcome, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you.
My first question is, what impact did the first cohort have in income generation and new employment opportunities?
Yeah, thank you very much. As you rightly mentioned, that we target startups that have got potential to develop impact, and so far, and also those that are actually supposed to grow and scale. So far, what we have noticed, there have been quite a number of jobs that have been created and sustained. We are actually counting about over 3,000 jobs that have been sustained by the 26 investors who were funded in the first round. And on average, we have noticed that they have actually grown in terms of revenue generation about 41%, of course, at different scale. So yeah, they are actually kind of getting some traction, and we are seeing some of them actually attracting additional investment from other funders, which actually is something that we have aimed at when we launched the call.
Okay, so how does the program ensure the investees get the required technical support once they are given the funds?
Yeah, as FUNGU, we are more than funding because what we provide is actually catalytic funding, which is supposed to help them move from point A to point B so that they can be de-risked and be seen by other potential investors or funders, whether it's from the commercial banks or other development partners. So what we usually do, once somebody has already gotten that catalytic funding, we provide demand-driven technical assistance. So some of them go through some kind of training in terms of how do you raise investment, what do investors look at. We have noticed that most of the investors who come in Tanzania are more of impact investors, which means they would like to see that you can be able to provide impact metrics. So we have taken through some of the investees in our first cohort, how do you track and measure and report an impact, for instance. So we also engage with them in terms of showcasing them, in terms of spotlighting them on social media, any kind of platform that we get. So we make sure at least we link them to potential partners who could provide additional resources that they get. Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, going to be a third cohort of investees? And
yes.
If yes, how can one be a part of it?
Yeah, we will definitely announce another call sometime next year. And how can one be part of it? What we usually do, we look at potential startups that one, they have to be innovative because we are an innovation fund, so we look at innovation. But at the same time, the startup have to show that they have got the potential to grow. Because what we're trying to do is to support those that can grow and be able to create massive impact in terms of job creation, in terms of being able to attract additional funding in Tanzania. But startups also have to demonstrate they have got a dedicated team of management who understand what they're doing. And of course, it has to be impact driven. You have to demonstrate to actually going to create impact. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph, for such insightful information about the FUNGU project. Thank you so much. And on to the next news. The Legal and Human Rights Center, LHRC, commends the government for submitting crucial bills to the parliament, including that of the 2025 Election Commission and the Presidential Election Bill, giving a platform for the members of the parliament and the councillors to offer the recommendation and amendment to the bills. Here's a report by Omega Shamakala, read by Kanki Magomole.
The Legal and Human Rights Center asserts that this is a vital step that indicates the government's commitment on improving democracy in the country.
First of all, with regards to the issue of a candidate passing unopposed, this has prevented people from choosing their candidates. Similarly, the issue of establishing committees will increase the scope of the Commission's independence.
Dr. Henga insists that the involvement of people with disabilities at leadership positions and women in politics fosters the development of politics and democracy in the country.
The presence of the inclusion of women and people with disabilities in leadership positions in political parties, but the challenge is it lacks gender policy. You find that men have more leadership positions than women. But this policy that has come that proposes gender policy issues is quite a great step.
The center urges various stakeholders to come forward and offer their recommendations, while on the other hand, they advise the funds from the commission to be used to complete the concept of being independent.
We have seen clause 22 of the bill that funds for the operation of the commission. It will come from the government's budget. This indicates that the commission will continue to be dependent. Government will have the authority to decide how much the commission will get and at what time. An act that indicates the concept of an independent commission absence. Therefore, we recommend that the funds for the operation of the Commission's activities come from the consolidated fund rather than the Commission continuing to receive funds from the Prime Minister's office.
Other suggestions made by the Centre include the use of modern technology in the registration of voters, enabling eligible Tanzanians to register themselves online, as well as a Tanzania diaspora to enable them participate in the voting exercise.
Tanzania Environmental Experts Association, TEA, have been urged to use their profession to advise the government and the private sector on how to implement strategic development projects in accordance with accepted environmental standards. The call has been made in Dar es Salaam by the Minister of State, Vice President's Office, Union and Environment, Dr. Selemani Jaffo, while opening the annual general meeting and exhibition involving environmental experts and consultants, insisting in order the projects to be productive, the Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, must be considered. Emmanuel Samuel has more details.
To start, the chairman of the Environmental Expert Association, TEA, Emmanuel Hanai, explains the vision of the association and the importance of the meeting in relation to environmental conservation and protection.
Considering that the Tanzania Environmental Expert Association is a professional body that deals on professional issues, we realize that there is a need to reach the public as part of our social corporate responsibility. So one of the areas that we identified that we will reach the public and contribute to our efforts to support the government as well was tree planting initiatives.
The Minister of State, Vice President's Office, Union and Environment, Dr. Selemani Jaffo, is the official guest of HANA and is here to open the general meeting. He says the government relies on environmental experts for sustainable development projects.
Large projects are being constructed, be it water project, electricity, and many more projects. But throughout all this, we are also knowledge that we don't destroy the environment. All documents must meet the required standard. We have witnessed environmental pollution where factories have been built and that water flows directly into the communities.
Furthermore, Minister Jaffo uses the meeting to remind Tanzanians about the tree planting agenda, especially this rainy season.
I urge you Tanzanians to take care of environment and continue to plant trees. As I said, the country has set goals for each council to plant 1.5 million trees, with the goal of planting the 277 million trees per year.
Some of the participants of the meeting, including academicians from the University of Dar es Salaam, had various views on how vital are issues to be discussed.
The annual general meeting of TEA is very significant to the nation of Tanzania. These experts have gathered here for 2 days from this 21st November to 22nd to deliberate on the issues related to environment. The University of Dar es Salaam, as the higher learning institutions, has the mandate to prepare experts in all aspects of starting from environment, engineering, etc.
I call upon all environmental practitioners to come and participate in this training so that they can improve their understanding and their dealings or their practices in environmental assessment.
Tanzanian Environmental Experts Association says it plans to plant more than 1,000 trees in various schools in the country as part of their contribution to environmental protection. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
UN Women Tanzania has signed a memorandum of understanding agreement with Tigo Tanzania to enhance the number of young Tanzanian women and girls with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics and digital skills. While they're signing the MOU in Dar es Salaam, UN Women Tanzania representatives Hodana Do says the MOU aligns with the UN's Women's African Girls Can Code Initiative, AGCCI, which aims to train and empower women and girls aged 17 to 25 to take up studies and careers in the information, communication and technology, ICT, education, and coding sectors. Rahema Sababili has more details.
While signing the Memorandum of Understanding in Dar es Salaam, UN Women Tanzania representatives Hodano Du says statistics indicate that approximately 90% of future jobs globally require ICT skills. However, enrollment in science subjects shows a significant gender gap, with fewer girls and boys participating and women being highly underrepresented in science and engineering professions.
Ensuring that women and girls have equal access to opportunities is fundamental human rights, to education, to opportunities and economic opportunities, and essential for Tanzania's realization of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. By equipping women and girls with digital skills, we will ensure science, research, and innovation reflect women's and girls' perspective, contributing to better decision-making and ultimately gender equality, and helping eliminate, hopefully, through all forms of inequality through this collaboration.
On his part, Tigo CEO Kamal Okba says collaboration will focus on developing coding, robotics, and digital entrepreneurship skills for young women and girls, both in and out of school.
Tigo will provide training on digital literacy, coding and robotics, digital entrepreneurship, incubation, and mentorship to the selected beneficiaries in the UN Women Camps for African Girls and Code Initiatives Binti Digitally. In addition, we will donate Tigo fastest 4G and 5G internet connectivity during the training period in all training camps. We are optimistic that this collaboration will impact more girls and young women and contribute toward reducing skills gap in the broader digital economy agenda.
The program will include advanced IT training through coding camps, mentorship programs, and incubation with tech-driven startups aiming to enhance their employability, entrepreneurship abilities, and access to further education for economic empowerment. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rahima Babili, TBC News.
Tanzania Revenue Authority, TRA, urges manufacturers and freight forwarders to register as authorized economic operators, AEOs, an initiative that aims to streamline the clearance process for consignments during importation. TRA Commissioner General Alfayo Kidata made the call in Dar es Salaam during a special meeting that was attended by manufacturers and freight forwarders to outline the importance of the Authorized Economic Operators Scheme. Rahema Sabili was there and has prepared the following report.
According to the TRA Commissioner General Alfayo Kidata, the Authorized Economic Operators Scheme, AEO, will benefit manufacturers and freight forwarders with the preferential incentives such as expedited and clearance and dedicated facilitation window, ultimately reducing time and cost associated with doing business.
All those questions which are being raised or which have been reserved for further discussions are cleared so that we are on the same page so that our journey can be successful.
Representatives from the Confederation of Industries and Freight Forwarders Association says the scheme will foster a competitive economy through investment and trade opportunities.
In the modern era, this is an era where you need to be competitive. We all know we are signatories to definitely the EAC, now the AFTA, and it's not something that we can go back from anymore. So we live in an extremely competitive world. Each time I have an opportunity to talk, I repeat the same thing. So we need to be competitive.
We would also like to see these numbers improving, as also considering on how we can engage the SMEs as well.
Beneficiaries of the AEO scheme share the experiences and benefits they have gained from participating in the program.
It is very important for the manufacturing. Initially, we were having a lot of cost of verifications. Sometimes we get damages also during verifications due to equipments. By these AEO operators, it has reduced verification first, the cost of verification, cost of transfers of containers. These were all now been omitted from the bills of the ICs operators.
The platform is very beneficial to the running of the business in terms of the custom and the clearance of the cargo is concerned. It reduces the time of the clearance, it reduces the cost of the clearance.
The AEO initiative underscores TRA's drive to bolster regional integration and expand market horizon for Tanzanian industries. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rahima Sabili, TBC News.
Following the government's efforts and strategies to improve the Rondo Island National Park by improving the general surrounding environment, more foreign tourists have been visiting the park, making the park generate more income. Speaking to TBC News, the commanding officer of Rondo Island National Park, Imani Kikoti, says the island is projecting even more prospects in the near future, and he invites more tourists to visit.
Rondo Island National Park is one of the very beautiful national parks in the country. It is one of the largest protected islands in Africa. Therefore, we call upon all visitors all over the world to visit the Rondo Island because it is very well protected. It has so many attractives. There are good beaches. We've got a lot of birds diversity. We've got chimpanzee. So through visiting Rondo, we assure visitors that they will be well satisfied.
On the other hand, some of the tourists expressed their experience so far and explain what has attracted them to visit Rondo National Park.
Amazing trip.
can't say enough about the staff and the animals. I really love the hippos. Love seeing them in the water, and we got to see one out of the water. So that was fabulous. Of course, the chimpanzees, but they don't make that easy. They like to make you hike around. So I got lots of exercise.
It was quite diverse of all the birds and crocodiles. It was really amazing. Being out in the jungle and just seeing all the trackers and the guides, it was very memorable. Yeah.
Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now have a look on today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Up next is international news.
Negotiations to end fighting in the Gaza Strip with an agreement to exchange hostages taken by Hamas are taking place in Qatar. The leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, says they are close to reaching a ceasefire agreement between them and Israel. The negotiation agreement is expected to be announced by Qatar and other mediators. Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. are working on an agreement to release the hostages kidnapped in Israel by Hamas in order to stop the fighting in the Gaza Strip. Veteran politician Joseph Boakai has been announced as the winner of Liberia's presidential elections, defeating incumbent George Weah. The National Election Commission has said Boakai won with 50.64% of the votes against 49.36% of the votes of the former president, George Weah. However, the Electoral Commission has received 2 appeals from Weah Party regarding the conduct of the elections in Nimba County. The Commission has 30 days to investigate and reach a decision. And the current president of Madagascar, Andry Rajoelina, leads with 62.4% in the presidential election held last Thursday. Another candidate got 12.2%, followed by former President Marc Ravalomanana with 11.2%. The country's election commission has said only 43% of the registered people came out to vote due to some opposition candidates pressuring them to boycott the election. 10 out of 12 opposition candidates boycotted the election. In June, the country's media reported that Rajoelina has obtained French citizenship in 2014, which the opposition claims should cause him to lose Madagascar's citizenship and disqualify him from participating in the race.
That was international news. Sports news up next. In sports news, Simba FC urges its football fans to come out in large numbers in their first game of the group stage of the African Champions League against ASEC Mimosa, which will be played this Saturday. The club's information and media manager, Ahmed Ali, insists that it's time for the fans to let go of the past.
Through this game is where we want to proceed with our tradition of crowding the stadium, so every Simba fans should buy their ticket in advance, and let's meet at the stadium on 25th.
Simba will have a tough time against the game of the African Champions League group stage against ASEC Mimosa Saturday this week, the match that will be played at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam around 10 p.m. Sports news, the chairman of the Peace Reconciliation Society in the country, Alhaji Musa Salum, says they have organized a peace walk to continue to promote the importance of peace to the people in the community. Salum insists that he believes that through the work, many people will gain an understanding of the importance of protecting and maintaining the existing peace in the country.
Its aim is to raise the voice on the importance of peace in our country and the world in general. This race also aims to raise funds to support the activities of the peace community organizations, where there are leaders encouraging a society that loves peace, unity, good relations, and national unity regardless of their differences that exist among members of the community.
The Peace Reconciliation Society in the country has organized a walk of 2, 5, 10, and 21 kilometers expected to be held in the areas of Coco Beach on December 2nd in Dar es Salaam, while the official guest of honor is expected to be the Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa. And currently, as Taifa Stars is looking to maintain the dream start to the 2026 FIFA World Cup Africa qualifiers against North African giants Morocco at Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam, we as TBC News wish them all the best. Follow our social media platforms for all the latest in terms of the results. And that was sports news, and it also marks the news bulletin for tonight. I am Teddy Mparinyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.